Hey there, this is Ray with Ray's Guide, and it's looking like salvage is going to be, for the time being, a really profitable activity in the verse. So here's my list of do's and don'ts for maximizing your profit in it. Now, the whole idea of most of these suggestions is that you was making money when the scraping head is doing its job, and you're not making money when it isn't, so the idea is to minimize the time that it isn't. So first up, do pack a lunch. In fact, pack several of them. If you are maximizing your scraping time, then you are going to be out there long enough to get hungry and thirsty. So having to shut down and go home and get some victuals is lost profit. So stock up on some chow before you go. The next, do buy tools, don't make tools. The ability of the hopper to make a multi-tool or tractor beam attachment can bail you out of a jam, but otherwise, if you are spending RMC worth thousands in sale price to get an item that can be purchased for hundreds. In fact, buy a few extra ones to have in your ship, so if somebody asks you to make one for them, just pull one out of the inventory and say, hey, here it is, that'll be 8,000 UEC, please. Not only will that make them less likely to be forgetful about equipping themselves, but you'll make a huge profit on it. On the other hand, don't buy canisters, do make canisters. The canisters you buy at Cousin Crow's or Dumpers Depot or wherever are cheap but empty, and so you have to go EVA and slowly fill them up one at a time. The ones you make out of the hopper here, well, they're already full. So not only that, you can sell them at the TDD for more than the value of the RMC expended to make them. So yeah, it's a nuisance to sell them at such tiny quantities one at a time. But in a large backpack, essentially you have made an extension of the storage space on your ship, allowing you to bring back more and sell on each trip back. More time scraping, less time traveling. Which brings us straight to the next thing to do. Always fill up on loose cargo areas of the ship. Talking about the hallways and such little areas off the grid places. You can likely add half again to the cargo able to be stored on the grid. But the flip side is, don't aggressively stack loose cargo. Cargo stacks nicely and safely on the grid, but when your loose cargo off the grid is prone to toppling dangerously and bouncing around. So in fact, you can trap and hurt you. So plan on just one layer of loose cargo. And now we're going to talk about crewing for profit. Do solo the Vulture. Yeah, you could theoretically have some second person down there waiting at the hopper, but on the Vulture, the hopper fills so slowly that they'll just be spending most of their time sitting on their hands waiting for the next box, and certainly will not double your profit per hour. And so they'd be way better if they were just off in their own Vulture. Or don't solo the Reclaimer. Sure, it's possible, but you'll spend so much time running from one end of the ship to the other that the scrapers will almost never be running, even just running one of them. The target crew size for a Reclaimer should be at least 4. 1 pilot, 2 scraper operators, and 1 loadmaster. Now, if you was only managing with 3, I would have one of the scraper operators double as the pilot. If you are lucky enough to get 5 on your crew, then have a second loadmaster who also serves as a backup scraper operator if one of them needs to take a break. That seems a lot of mouths to feed, but it can be very profitable. Now, a ship as big and hungry as a Reclaimer can be a big target to pirates, so consider a tip from mole operators. Do consider having a fighter to act as combined scout and bodyguard. Just having them be a bodyguard is too boring, but if they're also tasked with looking for new wrecks, then everybody's time is better spent. And while on the subject of having other ships and pilots on your team, consider this. Do consider having friends do the hauling for sale. This is, of course, keeps you out there scraping hulls, less time in quantum travel, landing, etc., but you'll need to do it right, or it will be a money loser. You see, crates just taken from the prospector reclaimers hold by just anybody will be treated as if they were looted, and thus only be sellable at a no-questions-asked location for a much lower price. Obviously, from a maximizing profit standpoint, that is a don't. On the other hand, if you are together in a party, they will be able to sell at the TDD for full price. So, to state the obvious, you need to be doing this only with people that you trust, since as a party member, you're giving them a fair deal of access and opportunity to your ship. But unless you trust them like a brother, my rule is going to be that money changes hands before crates change hands. You may wonder why that's my logic, so let me describe it. You are in, say, a freelancer or Cutlass Black, and you have plenty of ways of punishing me for cheating you. On the other hand, the 2 little pea shooters on this Vulture isn't going to bother you much, now will it? So yeah, unless we share the same last name, money changes hands before crates change hands. So how much money should change hands? Well, I would suggest somewhere between 85 and 90% of the price at the nearest TDD, depending on how far away the nearest TDD is. That represents about 11 to 17% return on their cost. Now, if that seems high for just moving stuff around, remember that time they are going to be spent moving stuff around is time that you are going to spend pulling more of that sweet USC from some hole. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the booth. This is Ray with Ray's Guide. And now for an update on our giveaways. First, we have the Waiting for 3.18 Piloting Skills Contest for the most amazing landing of a ship Hercules size or larger for your choice of any of the Crusader Spirit Series ships. See the link in the description for that. With the confirmation that there's going to be a 3.17.5 release for the Lunar New Year, there's still plenty of time before 3.18 goes live to plan out, practice, and record something jaw-dropping. And then there's the Grow the Channel ship giveaway for the winner's choice of the Galaxy Complete, the marvelous multi-role mining moving medical machine, or the brand new big box bargain bazaar called the Merchantman. One entry per video. Current members are entered automatically as always, and everybody else just subscribe and comment with the secret word. And the secret word for this video is what Ray's rule is unless you share the last name. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond for Ray's Guide.